Hello there, this is Rich again, and today I'm filming from a rather special place. So I have a spectacular classroom for you. There's a correct name for these mountains. The full name for these fantastic peaks are the CIME di LAVAREDO. This tutorial which I'm doing now is going to be on learning through the VAK or VAK method. What does this VAK stand for? Because as with many of these words or methods, the VAK is an acronym. So it stands for visual, audio, kinesthetics. Now that sounds rather complicated, but it is actually quite simple. Okay, this is a quick slide just to explain that again. We've got visual, auditory or audio, and kinesthetic. The visual is obviously what you see it. The auditory is what you listen to or what you hear. And the kinesthetic is what you touch or experience, so it's what you do. And often this is described as see it, hear it, and do it. Linguistic experts talk about using the three or a multi-sensory method to learn a language. What the experts say is that if you use all three of these devices or these senses, then you will memorize the language better. Now I'd like to give a very simple example of this, which will just help you maybe understand what I'm talking about. If I make a group of 8-year-old Italian kids who have really no English whatsoever, and I write on the blackboard, stand up. That's a visual clue, but they can't read it, so they don't understand it. Now if I go into the class, they're all sitting down, and I say, okay everybody, stand up. Now they have two senses working. They have a word or two words on the blackboard. They don't know what it means. They have a sound, that is, they're listening. Their audio senses are now getting a sound, stand up. They still don't react because they don't know what it means. But then if I sit down and I do the action, which is the kinesthetic part, and I say, okay everybody, stand up. Yeah? So some are a little slower than others, but I can guarantee that after 2 or 3 times, all the class will stand up. They've got a visual word now, they've got an audio sound, and they've got a movement which gives them the information. What's really interesting about this example with the very, very young Italian kids is that even a week later I will walk into the same class, they're sitting down, and I will say, stand up. And apart from those who are not paying attention, they will stand up. So the retention has been really good because they've had the three multi-sensorial devices which are storing that information, that simple command or information, and they've got it. Now there's another interesting, more relevant for adults who are learning English as a second language with this VAK system. and that is different people learn better with different senses. And a classic example of this is when you study for an exam, or when you studied when you were at school for an exam. People retain or memorize the information with a emphasis or using one of these sensory devices more than another. Some people write a lot and read, and they use images to retain the information. Other people will have to listen to their teachers explaining the material. What I think is good for you learners of English to know is are you a visual person? Are you an audio person? Are you a kinesthetic person? Or, as many and most of us are, we are a combination of the three. So how do you know this? Well, it's easy. You do a VAK test. I've indicated a couple of websites. You can do it online, and at the end of the test, the people who have created the test, they will give you an idea of which of the senses is dominating your learning capability or your learning retention. The percentages which come out of the test are divided into three. So you have the VAK, and you get a percentage of, depending on your answers in the test, you will end up with possibly 20% visual, 40% and 40% audio kinesthetic. In my case, I found I was definitely higher on the kinesthetic, and that's probably why I move my hands. Here's a sample question for a typical VAK test, just to see what type of questions you will find on the web tests. Goodbye again, and I hope to see you in another of my videos, and maybe you'll see a different panorama, and there are some fantastic panoramas up here in the Dolomites. See you again.